a bunch of new product reviews, and how I met this guy, Brian Dawkins from the Philadelphia Eagles. Hey everyone, welcome to Keep Shooting Monday number 108. My name is Greg Cazillo from Cazillo.com. This is take 2 of today's show. For some reason I had this really weird audio glitch where it seemed to play fine, but for some reason it wasn't exporting, so I gave up. It's now 5:25 p.m. on the East Coast, and I'm recording this again. So it's going to be a late evening getting it re-uploaded, reposted, re-everything, re-edited, but that's the way it goes. I'm dedicated. I want to get this out for you guys. So make sure you like this video, and hopefully you'll like the content, all that good stuff, and come back forever and ever and ever. Anyway, let's start off with a little bit of news I wanted to talk about, and I'll do it in a minute, about how I met Brian Dawkins from the Philadelphia Eagles. First, a little bit of news. First, here's a simple sheet that shows you exactly what profile image sizes are for each of the major social media sites. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr. You can bookmark this link and it will always be updated. They'll do their best to keep it updated so that you can always go back to it. You know that it's going to be reliable, and they're always changing their websites and making adjustments, which is a good thing because we want things to change and we want sites to upgrade and things to get better in general. But since they do change, we need to update what we do too, as everything starts making noise. And so let's mute it. Anyway, so next thing, something I said for years: do not buy low quality filters. This particular filter you can back on Kickstarter. It's called the X3 Cpl. It's on Kickstarter. Claims to be the world's sharpest and most color neutral circular polarizer. I like the way it's designed. I like the way that you can easily stack filters on it, which is really neat. Kind of rethought the way that it works. They range from $89 to $159 depending upon the size, although some of the sizes are sold out. It is fully funded, which means that you will get your product in the down the road. Overall, I think it's a good design, and it'll be interesting to see the quality of that particular product when it finally comes out to market, especially compared to some of the big boys who have been on the market for a long time, like Tiffin and B&W, and I can't think of some of the other names that are out there right off the top of my head. But I've always said, don't buy a low-quality filter. You got to buy a good quality because it's worth it, because it's going to shift. And any of those just protective UV filter things, if you just look at it, you can see they're always pink or they're blue or they're something. That's the same thing is going to transfer to your lens, and that means every single one of your photos is going to have that off hue, that off color. So you need to be careful of that, and so stay away from those cheapo ones, and hopefully this is a really good one, and then challenges everyone else in the market to make their products even better too. Canon did an experiment showing how photographers are much more obsessed with how an image looks versus the regular public. I have always said this. I think it's always been a thing. We're a lot more obsessed with our images, especially our own, than everyone else. So when we show it to them, basically this was an ad for their photo printers. What they did is they had set up some eye tracking, and they printed a photo on one of their new printers. They set it up, and they set up an eye tracking system. Then they had a non-photographer, a photo student, and a professional photographer all look at the same image in the same place. Well, the pro had about 5 times more eye movement than the non-photographer, which is interesting. You can see in this chart how exactly where they were looking the whole time, and so I would expect it to be like that. While the The student photographer had about 2 times as much eye movement as the non-professional, or the non-photographer. So once again, I would expect something like that and be in that range. The only issue that I saw is that the professional photographer was the same one that actually shot the image. And so, of course, as a professional photographer, you're going to be a lot more critical of your own work. You're going to look at every little thing. Okay, did I put that light in the right place? Did I focus right? How was my depth of field? Should I have moved something else in the background? Are his hands in the right positions? Should I have turned his shoulders a little bit? What all could I have done to make this image better? So, while yes, it is 5 times more, I think it's a little bit misleading in the numbers themselves if you don't realize what's going on. That, hey, this is the actual photographer. I'd like to see just a pro photographer, just any pro photographer, look at this and see, okay, what's the real deal? What are they doing? And I'd be willing to bet it's probably not that much more than the student. Probably a little more. You want a photographer with some experience, but I think it would be better if they would have shown a little bit more, bigger picture, rather than, you could take any set of data and make anyone realize or skew that data in any way that you want just by presenting it in the right fashion. Let me mute something else here because the Mac is also making noise. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what I'm testing and some reviews that are coming up for you guys. First, you see that guy right there, and that's the first one that I'm going to talk about. This is the Spider 5 Studio Kit from Datacolor. They were nice enough to send it over. It has a number of different products in here. Of course, the software to run it. And then the first thing that you're going to use is the Spider Cube. The cube allows you to set your proper white balance, your black level, your gray, middle gray, your white, and also your highlight. In a nice little compact package, you can have someone just hold it up in the air and you can shoot your photo of it, and it's pretty much done. Then you can use it as a reference in Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever your application is. So that's step 1. Step 2 is your screen calibration. So you can take the Spider 5 and you can calibrate your screen. Super important. I've talked about it for years and years. Make sure you're calibrating your screen. So that's really important. By the way, I have another question coming up from a Cazillion that talked about how to set it up, how to make sure you have the right brightness, and also the room lighting. So we'll go over that in a little bit. Finally, when you're printing, you need to make sure that your printers are looking good. This is a spectrocolorimeter. I hope I said that right. At least it says it right here, and I'm hoping I'm reading that right. Spectrocolorimeter. So basically what it does is, once you have your screen profiled, then you're creating a custom profile for the prints coming out of your printer. Over time, your printer can shift a little bit, and it might not look perfect, or maybe you don't have a really good profile with the type of paper that you're using, whatever it may be. And so that allows you to profile any paper and ink combination in any printer without issue. This is a great system. I strongly suggest every photographer at least have one of the Spider 5s to allow you to calibrate your screen, and of course one of the Spider Cubes so that you can use that as a reference in your photos to get the right white balance. At least have those 2 pieces of the puzzle. And then for anyone that's doing their own printing, you need to invest in what they call the Spider Print Module, which is the spectrocolorimeter. I think I said that right. Let's find out. I need to ask Datacolor about exactly how do we say that. So this is the Spider 5 Studio Kit. They have a couple of other models with just smaller parts and pieces that are in there, and I'll talk about all of those in the review coming up soon. By the way, comes in a really neat hard case. Next thing I wanted to talk about was Red River Paper. Red River Paper is a paper manufacturer based in Texas, and I had always known them for their cards, for just their inkjet printable note cards. so you can print your own thank you cards, that kind of thing. They come pre-scored in the middle, all that good stuff. But amazingly enough, their satin paper is the #1 selling product, and #2 is their metallic paper. They were one of the first companies to come out with a metallic paper, which is really neat. They have, I think, over 1,000 different paper profiles for printers from Epson, Canon, and HP. So that's a huge library of printers to keep ICC profiles, like we are just talking about, the calibration thing, which is super important. That is a wide range of machines that they need to be taken care of and constantly checking, rechecking, make sure of all those profiles are in good shape. So they do that. So they sent over a sample kit here, and also some of their Premium Matte Plus and their Pecos River Gloss. They're 7x10, which gives a nice standard note card size. In their kit, in their test kit, you get some sample envelopes, and the one I like the best, as the screen turns off, let's turn that back on. I did that twice now today. So this is a slightly opaque one, which is really neat. I'd never seen it before. Basically, it allows you to see through partially through that card. So if you're putting a photo on there, you can partially see through that envelope. That's really neat, as well as some other colors, your greens and your reds, and some different qualities of paper, as well as a linen feel card, which is really nice. You get a sample sheet here that tells you about their other things that they can do. One other thing that that's really nice, they can print. They have lots of different sizes that are already cut. They'll also do custom cutting for you in any size, which is really cool. Back to the stuff that I dropped for the second time today. They have all the other samples of their different types of papers. Again, you have the different linens and just your mattes and your glossies and your satins. Excellent quality paper, really feels nice, and it feels like it's something that somebody really spent some time printing and making. The scoring quality is very nice. You get a really nice fold when you use this. And the best thing about this is you can print your own inkjet cards. Obviously, you want to use a good quality printer. You don't want to use just a regular document printer. You want to use a good quality photo printer. But you can do that and have them done for under $1 a card, including the ink and the paper. And I think that includes the envelopes too. So you're out the door less than $1 a card. You could easily sell them for $2.50, $3 per card for Christmas cards, that kind of thing. Excellent idea, excellent add-on sale if you're a professional. Perfect time of the year to be doing that for Christmas cards, holiday cards, for companies as well as your own company. So put them out there. Think about that. It's a great way to go. And also consider all of the other papers that they have. Speaking of papers, Epson, I can't talk today, been a long day. Epson sent over some of their exhibition canvas natural satin. Really neat feeling paper. Something about the feel of paper. I packed this up and I didn't unpack it again. But anyway, it has a really neat feel to it. It really has that canvasy feel front and back. And this is the satin canvas, which means it has a little bit of gloss to it. So it's got a little bit different feel, and it's it just has that little bit of gloss rather than just a pure matte, which is great for maybe a black and white. And again, I've always talked about how different photos have just need different papers basically, and so that's why we choose, or at least why I choose different papers for different photos. So let me check my cheat sheet here on the iPad to make sure that we didn't miss anything. I don't think we did. Nope. So let's go over that one, because, I did forget. Talk about Brian Dawkins, and then we'll go over one Cazillion question. So how did I meet this guy, Brian Dawkins from the Philadelphia Eagles? Well, I got a phone call on 2 Fridays ago in the afternoon saying, hey, I need a photographer for this event. The old one backed out, And so sure, I didn't have anything going on, so I said sure, I'd love to go and photograph your event. That's not a problem. Gave them a good deal since they were a nonprofit organization. Anyway, a little bit about Brian first. He went to Clemson University. He was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles and played 13 seasons for them, and then 3 more for the Broncos after that. He made such a huge impact on the Philadelphia Eagles. They actually retired the number 20 jersey and is currently working for ESPN. He was a 9-time Pro Bowl selection and will be eligible for the Hall of Fame in 2017. This local event was held at a place called the Parksburg Point. What that is a nonprofit community center that's faith-based, and they do their best to help out kids in the community, make sure they have a good place to go, to hang out, to have fun, to enjoy sports, or do whatever that they want to do. I'm sure they have crafts and all that good stuff too. But this is one of their big events where they bring in a speaker, and I think he spoke to probably about 300 to 500 people. They had a really good number of people there. Talk about photographing the event, because that's what really matters to us as photographers. Initially, there wasn't a lot going on. Everybody's there was a few people hanging out in the parking lot and tossing a football around, kind of the tailgate style kind of thing. Shot a few photos of people hanging out, registering, the people cooking some food, throwing a football around. But that was about it. It got darker early because the time just changed. And so that was pretty much kind of the beginning of the day. Then Brian arrived, and it was a VIP area where all those people had paid extra to make sure that they had a chance to talk to Brian, to meet him, to have something signed, and to get a photo done. That's where the photographer came into play. Wanted to make sure that we got all those photos from everyone, but I had a limited amount of time. I only had about 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes to get all these people through, to get all their photos done. So I had to be assertive. I had to keep those people moving. I had another lady that I was working with. I'm trying to remember her name. Debbie was her name. Deb or Debbie, I forget. She preferred one or the other. Sorry, Deb. I can't remember which it was. Anyway, she had said, hey, we need to make sure we get through everyone. Here's a list of all the names. And so I had to use my big scary voice a couple of times to get people to listen, to move up, and to keep moving, to make sure we got everyone done. Because, the people that are first are all well and good. But, the other people at the end probably paid the same, if not more money, so they expect to have their time as well. So no matter what, you still need to be thoughtful of the fact that, hey, they paid for the chance to meet Brian, to meet the celebrity, to have their moment with him, to have something signed. But again, you need to keep them moving. So that's what we did. We made sure to keep everybody moving. But it still went well. Didn't have any issues at all. After that, he then went and relaxed for a little while, and he was in his own room by himself, and he kind of relaxed for a little while, collected his thoughts, and he spoke for about 30, 45 minutes. Then after he spoke, he probably spent a solid hour getting through everyone's photos or things that they had signed and getting a picture with them. It was once again he stuck around. Not every celebrity is going to stick around through that entire time to get through 300 to 500 people to allow them to have something signed and get a picture with them. But he stuck through it and got through everybody. So I applaud him for that. And any celebrity that'll do that, you know that their head's in the right place. You know what I mean? As far as what he had to talk about, it was the way he described it is more faith-based rather than, hey, this is the church, or this is this, or this is that, you know what I mean? So just basically just having faith in himself, having faith in the things that he's been taught, and his type of religion. The overall, I thought it was very inspiring. It made me kind of think about some of the things that I do, the way that I do them, and also some of those things that pop into your head that, you know what I mean? Just to have a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more, basically, faith in yourself, and a little bit more, I just don't. Having a hard time with finding the right words, but a little more confidence in yourself to really be able to move ahead and do the things you want to do. And you know, a lot of the things that he was able to do, he actually said that, you know, it all came down to his wife, and he really attributed one of the kids that asked questions afterwards, said, hey, you know, how did what's the one person that really turned your life around? And he said, look, it was my wife, because she helped to turn him around and get him away from drugs, and get him away from the wrong people that he was hanging out with. And so he married her, and he's still married to her, which is great. So yep. So I met Brian Dawkins, and here's the proof right here. Photo with me and him. I did not get anything signed, but you know what? That's okay. I just got a photo, and that's all that I need. And of course, I got a really great photo of just him. So those two are just enough for me. So that's how I met Brian Dawkins. Now let's get into one gazillion question about calibration. Another great question from Jerry. When I edit my photos and calibrate my monitor, where should my screen brightness be? This is a great question, and one that I've gotten a couple of times. It's kind of a two-part answer. Number one, at least in my opinion, is the room lighting. The room lighting needs to be subdued. Lighting should be about the same as a movie theater before the ads and previews begin, and this is all information I'm getting directly from Datacolor. The main thing is that the display should be the brightest light source in the room. Close blinds, turn off overhead lighting, and add an indirect light behind you like a small table lamp. Desk lamps should be off also. You should have a setup that allows you to create consistent environment at any time of the day. So I like the way they talk about it as the movie theater. You know, you can see, you can move around, but still that screen is the brightest source in the room. So that's a good thing, and it'll easily allow you to be able to compare your prints to the screen and get it consistent, and the prints won't be too dark, because that's what happens a lot. Then the second part of that is actually figuring out the brightness of the screen itself. Luminance is a measure of brightness. So Datacolor recommends between 100 and 120 is a suggested luminance measurement. And what will happen is a good monitoring tool, or a good calibration tool, should be able to measure the brightness of that screen. And they say between 100 and 120 here. If you look at what X-Rite says to adjust the brightness level, profile display, print or have a photo printed. You know, if you have a printer already, just make a print. Then compare the print to the monitor. If the print is too dark, then reduce the brightness of the display and repeat the process. So, like you mentioned in your question, you do not have auto brightness turned on the iMac, which is a good thing. You know, you want it to be that way. You want to have a consistent brightness in that room to be able to edit properly. So hopefully those couple of tips will help. And I will have a full review and a full video series coming up on how to calibrate your display using the Spider Studio kit that I talked about today. And so those are going to be coming up. You'll be able to use those tips for any type of device, whether it's a Spider, you know, Datacolor Spider, whether it's a Color Monkey, whether it's, you know, an X-Rite device, because I have an older X-Rite also. So I'll kind of be able to hit different parts and pieces of each of those devices. So hopefully that will help, and hopefully it answers your question. If not, of course, ask more, as always. That's it for today's show. Thank you guys for being patient, and thank you for letting me know that the audio was bad in the file. I am going to sit here and re-edit this right now. I got the show done pretty quickly, 5:47 p.m. right now. We'll see how quick it takes me to re-edit, re-export, all that good stuff. Usually takes about 20 minutes to export the file. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to get things realigned and reset. Hopefully not too long, but we will see. Hopefully this one is working just fine. So that's it for Keep Shooting Monday number 108. Thanks, guys. Keep shooting. See ya.